It is a privilege to be here tonight because we have a lot of news to cover. We are 298 days away from the midterms and just one day after a deadly ICE shooting that took place in Minnesota. This evening, the city of Portland, Oregon, reported that 2 people were shot and wounded by Border Patrol agents there, according to the Department of Homeland Security. They released a statement claiming, in part, quote, the passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien affiliated with the transitional Tren de Aragua prostitution ring and involved in a recent shooting in Portland. When agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over law enforcement agents. For more, I want to bring in Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield. Dan, I am sorry to hear this news tonight. What has your office heard from local law enforcement or the feds about this? Give us the details.
Yeah, and first and foremost, any shooting in any community is just inherently tragic, and we're still beginning to learn what the facts are. I think here in Oregon, especially when you've got back-to-back shootings in our country, under these circumstances, people in the community want answers. They want transparency, and when appropriate, right, they want accountability. But you got to learn the facts first before you can really determine what's gone on. In this type of situation, you're going to have parallel investigations from the state and as well as the federal government. So we're still learning a lot right now.
But what can you tell us?
Yeah, right now, I think the facts that as they've been discussed is about what you're going to see very early on. There was a shooting, 2 people are involved, and right now, for the integrity of the investigation and making sure that we aren't, frankly, jumping to conclusions under these circumstances, we're just asking folks to be patient while we can really uncover what's going on. We're going to be asking for cooperation from the federal government as we conduct our own independent investigation in cooperation with the Portland Police Department. As we're moving forward over the next couple of weeks.
That's sort of what I wanted to ask next. Are you satisfied that the FBI will be investigating, or what is your local law enforcement investigation going to look like? Will it be done in parallel? Like, how's this going to work?
Yeah, and right now you have the Portland Police Department on scene. You have cooperation with the FBI as we're beginning to uncover what the facts are that gave rise to the events that occurred. And as the state, the Oregon Department of Justice, we are in cooperation with the Portland Police Department to conduct a parallel investigation alongside, I should say, the FBI.
You're demanding transparency and accountability. How are you going to get that? What's the plan?
It is simple. We have incidents like this that occur across the nation, and you follow standard investigatory techniques that are principled as we move forward. And that's the exact same way that we'll treat this. I think right now in this country, we're struggling with trust, right? And having dual parallel investigations is something that hopefully will add increased transparency to a very tragic event like this, or any tragic event like this, where we're having multiple investigations, the facts will be known, and then the public can have a little bit more faith in our judicial system as we move forward, because I think we're at a time where we're trying to, frankly, restore faith in our judicial system.
Well, we will be paying attention, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, tensions are rising in Minneapolis. 2 sources tell MS Now the ICE officer who killed Renee Nicole Good is Jonathan Ross, a member of the Enforcement and Removal Operations Special Response Team who has years of experience on the job. He has not been charged with a crime. Following the shooting, protests against immigration operations have continued. And in response, MS Now reports that hundreds of federal officers and agents assigned to immigration operations are now being redirected to Minneapolis. That is according to multiple law enforcement sources. Meanwhile, the FBI has locked the state out of the official investigation of this deadly encounter, but the White House is already offering its own version of the events. Watch this.
That woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. What you see is what you get in this case. You have a woman who is trying to obstruct a legitimate law enforcement operation. Nobody debates that. You have a woman who aimed her car at a law enforcement officer and pressed on the accelerator. Nobody debates that. I can believe that her death is a tragedy, while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making.
What you see is what you get. See is the important word there. You have most likely seen the video already, and while it is very disturbing, I think it's important to watch it again one more time. Why? Because the vice president right there is painting a picture. So rather than look at his picture, let's watch the actual video. You saw the video. I ask you, does that look like this woman is aiming her car at the agent, as our vice president claimed in the White House today? Also, Renee Good's mother and her ex-husband have said to the Star Tribune and the Associated Press that she was not an activist. I want to just take a moment to point something out. It has been more than 36 hours since an American woman was shot dead in her car by an ICE agent. As we said, Kash Patel's FBI will now investigate the tragedy and the events that led up to it. And while we wait, what is happening? Our highest government officials and some of our most prominent voices in media are already attacking this victim, a mother, an American citizen who was killed yesterday. You just heard J.D. Vance blame her for her own death. The administration also called her a domestic terrorist. A Fox News host called her a woman who was in severe crisis and that she lived a very sad and chaotic life. How on earth would he know any of the above? I know I cannot find the words to express how disheartening and cruel all of this is. I prayed for Renee Good's family today. I prayed for the safety of law enforcement and the people of Minneapolis in the tense days to come. At least for me, in times of tragedy, faith is often the light that carries us through, the light that drowns out the dark. And I can only hope that that light is not lost in this moment, because this response that we are seeing, this divide, this darkness, is truly a sad, sad moment for our country and for humanity. I want to bring in our panel next. Nichelle Norris, MS Now senior contributing editor. She's in her native Minnesota tonight. Peter Baker, chief White House correspondent for The New York Times. And former U.S. Attorney Joyce Vance. She spent 25 years as a federal prosecutor. Whew. Peter, your colleagues at The Times interviewed the president yesterday. They spent 3.5 hours with him. They challenged his argument that the victim tried to run over the ICE agent. What did you make of his response?
Well, I mean, I think you see in the president something you don't normally see in people in high office, which is to get in the middle of a case like this and cast judgment and create verdicts before any investigation, before any process, before any, official, conclusions have been reached by professionals who are looking at what they're seeing. And instead, he inflames and politicizes and engages and takes sides in a national tragedy. You don't see other presidents do this. Other presidents of both parties, Republican, Democrat, the traditional response in a situation like this is try to calm the waters and try to say, let's wait and see what the facts turn out to be. Let's have a proper investigation that's not political, and let's, let the authorities follow the facts where they go. Instead, you have a president who says that she ran over the officer. We all saw that video. She didn't run over the officer. You can make an argument as to whether he feared that she might run him over, but you can't say that she did run him over because she didn't. You saw the vice president, you played, casting aspersions on the dead woman who he did not know, and making assumptions about her motivations. And that's just something you don't see people in high office do. But this is not obviously a traditional administration.